Shining Resonance Refrain is an expanded and remastered title of the original Shining Resonance, which was released as a Japan-only PlayStation 3 game in 2014. Developed and published by Sega, this new to North America JRPG seeks to captivate a new audience this time around. Does it succeed in earning a following, or does this remaster deserve to stay in the past? The story starts off strong with a daring prison escape plan. Sonia Blanche of Astoria infiltrates Gaelrit's prison to rescue our young protagonist with lavender hair, Yuma Ilvern. He's being held captive by the invading Lombardian Empire because of his unique energy signature. Experiments have been conducted on him, as well as many others by Yohim, the maniacal and dedicated Empire scientist, to harness their energy to make fearsome weapons to use against the Astorians in a stalemated war effort. In order to escape without any of his rescuers being harmed, Yuma uses his gift, which turns out to be the power of the Shining Dragon. The story plays out over the course of 8 chapters. Betrayal and a constant shift of Empire authority and priorities keep the storyline interesting, and it is the best part of Refrain. Genus, a mysterious man, is on a quest for redemption, as interesting character interactions and works alone, becoming a nuisance to friend and enemy alike. Yuma partners up with 6 other characters along the way. Before the game is started, there are 2 difficulties available and 2 modes of play. The difficulty modes didn't seem to have much of an effect on gameplay as I made my way through the game, so I stuck with the default setting. Original mode tells the tale in the way it was told back in 2014 with Shining Resonance. If Refrain mode is selected, then 2 extra characters can be used in the party and bonded with. It is recommended that Refrain mode is left for a second playthrough to avoid spoilers of the original mode. The graphical style is nice enough to look at, but nothing to write home about. It looks like a typical last generation JRPG. Character models are detailed, while the environment and background can lack in textures in certain points. During gameplay, there were a few hiccups and frame rate drops in battle when there were a lot of enemies on screen or performing a special action such as transforming into the Shining Dragon. These small issues had a minimal effect on gameplay and are hardly noticed overall. Battles themselves are fought in real-time action arenas. The encounters are not random, as the enemies are wandering the field and can be engaged by Yuma and the party as they desire. There are 3 types of encounters: normal, advantageous, and risky. During an advantageous encounter, the enemy party is frozen in place for several seconds, allowing Yuma and gang to get some easy hits in before the battle really begins, while risky encounters are the opposite. Risky encounters weren't too bad and hardly hampered the heroes' efforts though, as enemies typically wait around for a few seconds before attacking, effectively negating their advantage. One problem with this system is its lack of consistency. Sneaking up on an enemy in the field is supposed to commence an advantageous encounter, but often it never occurred, or I even sometimes received a risky encounter instead. Once the encounter has been initiated, a zone is drawn around the combatants, indicating the battling arena. Direct control is relegated to the leader of the party. This can be any character that is traveling with Yuma, so there are 7 fully playable characters. Each of them fights in drastically different ways, and the party can be divided up between melee and ranged combatants. Each partner in the 4-character party is computer controlled, but behavior and preferred actions can be changed with the push of a button. Depending on the bond level of the party and the trait chosen for each party member, resonances can occur and improve the party working together. Magic attacks are also varied. They can be massive area effect spells, healing and revival magic, status enhancements, enemy debuffs, and stronger melee attacks with additional elemental damage. The system can lead to a diverse party of abilities, as each member can have 4 magic abilities enabled, plus they can be switched out during the battle to adapt to the situation at hand. Band specials are songs performed by the party to snag advantages in battle. These can range from increasing the party's attack power and critical hit rate to decreasing the enemy's defense and preventing the party from being affected by status ailments. Combat snares are enjoyable for the most part, but there are major flaws in the system that cannot be overlooked. Much like the graphical style, the controls feel last generation as well. It feels somewhat clunky and slow at times, and just running around the world map can be a pain, as Yuma just skids to a halt whenever the sprint button is released. As I mentioned previously, Yuma has the power of the Shining Dragon within him. He can transform in the midst of battle to offer up a huge advantage against whatever enemy you encounter. During the 40-hour minimum investment, expect to see and fight the same handful of enemy types with a palette swap and elemental shift repeatedly. Each of these enemies are recycled continuously for the entirety of the game, which can get boring. The same can be said of the mini-boss type monsters that roam the world map. While the elemental weakness changes for these creatures to keep the magic ability usage different, the battles feel the same. I found the same tactic was ridiculously effective for each mini-boss and major boss fight for the most part. In addition to the main story, there are side quests to tackle as well as the grimoire to explore. This completely optional area of focus is basically a dungeon crawler that can be utilized to grind some levels and acquire items in small 3-floor areas ending with a boss fight. Level up all party members as equally as possible as well. Certain points in the story mode require specific characters to be in battle. If your character isn't leveled up enough, you'll get demolished by the stronger enemies. This caused me to play an additional 5 or 6 hours late in the game because I had found the party I wanted and had gotten comfortable with. Neglecting the other members came back to haunt me and stopped story progression. This title also lacks a fast travel option. As the story progresses, each event takes place further and further away from Marga, the one and only city available to explore. This can become annoying as you'll be trekking through the exact same environments time and time again. You can run past all the enemies, but it's still a drag going through the same desert, plain, or swampy area for the upteenth time. The sound effects during battle are great, with spoken one-liners by party members that make it feel like they are truly in the fight together. Overall, I enjoyed the voice work. It was well-directed and emotion could be detected in most of the characters. Overall, Shining Resonance Refrain is a good story hampered by clunky controls at times, a lack of variety in monsters to battle, and borderline useless side quests and a shoehorned-in dating mechanic. If you enjoy grinding and maxing everything out in your JRPGs, then this title will definitely get you by. While the story is good, it's nothing mind-blowing, and the repetitive gameplay, lack of variety, and frustrating lack of travel options may turn some gamers off.